Yo, good evening. This is Nate Tillman. Um, we come to you again with daily medicine about something very serious and very to hit home with me, and that's mental health with dialysis patients. A lot of people don't look at it as serious as it is, and sometimes the patient don't even understand what's going on because the situation they're going through being on dialysis and things just don't seem right, and they just think that's normal, and it's not. Um, well, Dr. Johnson is going to bring to you light of what's going on and what can be done and what where you can get helpful advice and help cure or make things better if you're having those type of problems. Even if you're not a kidney patient, either or, mental health is serious and it affects a lot of people, and it's really not talked about the way it should be. Without further ado, well, yeah, Doc.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Medicine. And thanks for that intro, Nate.
No problem, no problem.
Because everybody, this is a super important topic. Mental health, mental illness within African American community and within America, especially when dealing with dialysis. Okay. And statistically, most African Americans will personally know somebody on dialysis. And just to reiterate, what dialysis is when your kidneys are not able to function and support your body in what they're supposed to do. And so, therefore, we have to essentially do it for you. It's an artificial kidney filtering system. Okay. And so literally your kidneys combined are like the size of like a big softball if you squish them together. And really it takes some the size, almost half of a refrigerator to replicate what those things do. So it is, just let's not doubt how important and how amazing the kidneys are. But we as African Americans, we have a lot of poor health outcomes when it comes to diabetes, when it comes to high blood pressure and things like of that nature, and it inevitably will lead to kidney disease. If kidney disease gets bad enough, you will end up on dialysis. Now, is dialysis perfect? No, and there was certainly a lot of trial and error. And so back in the day, back when this was first started in the mid to late 1900s, the horror stories that you hear about, the misery a lot of those folks were in was remarkable, and it was crazy. It literally was. And so therein lies a lot of deep rooted fear and trauma. Fear and trauma imprint onto us as people throughout generations. And so people's perspective of dialysis is perspective of dialysis from 1980, which is 40 years ago. And it's not what it is today, where people can do it in their houses, okay, and live for years and years and years. Whereas back in 1979, God, if you were on dialysis, you getting the, 5 more years out of your life, that was rough sledding. And so there was this association of dialysis equals death, and that's not the case. Okay, and whenever you think of death within your family, think about who that's you're talking about. You're talking about one, your elders, your grandparents, your great grandparents, hell, even your parents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins that you're very close with, etc. Friends and friends outside of your family. Okay, there's a lot of people who get affected by that, so it imprints on you. Okay, and it's the fear. Okay, and I want to emphasize it's the fear of this that a lot of us, especially black folks, especially men, that don't go to the doctor, because the minute you think you're going to the doctor and you get blood work drawn, all of a sudden you think, oh my God, they're going to find my kidneys are bad and then I'm going to end up on dialysis. I don't want that, so I ain't going to go to the doctor. Well, let me tell you something. If you go into kidney failure, you're going to pass out. You're going to end up in the hospital. And you're going to be on dialysis anyway. If you go to your doctor early, like I said in the last video, and we catch it before it's failure. You may have long-term kidney disease, but not failure. We try to prevent that. We try to slow the progression to that. Okay, but yet again, it's the fear that holds you back. Okay, it's that fear. And that's really where we want to aim today, is that mental health part of kidney disease, and then dialysis within not only a patient, but the family. Okay, and now here we go. Here we go. We getting into that mental health, mental wellness, and people are going to look at this and say, I ain't crazy. I ain't crazy. I don't need meds. I don't need none of this. Nobody's saying you're crazy. Fact of the matter is, the reason we as humans are the top of the food chain is because of this thing right here. Okay, and specifically the front part of your brain. It gives us the ability to have reason, logic, imagination, intuition, things of this nature. We create languages and social norms and cultures from this, okay? Outside of just instinct. Instinct is the stuff that we do without even thinking about it. But knowing English, knowing how to understand English in Spanish, knowing that I need to open a door up for a lady or help a senior citizen across the road. Those are things that come from here. And so on the flip side of that, we create an entire world within our mind, okay, that makes you as a person up. And sometimes that can go awry, and it can show up in the form of depression, anxiety, you know, acute or post-traumatic stress disorder, insomnia or lack of sleeping, hallucinations, you know, hearing voices in you. There's a lot of things your brain can create that are not advantageous or not good for you to be a normal functioning person. And so going back to dialysis, what dialysis represents, much like a lot of things that I've had to tell patients in the past, that you've got cancer, you've got HIV, you have end-stage kidney failure, so you're going on dialysis, you've got XYZ diagnosis, you've got severe COVID, and we've got to put you in the ICU. You're having a heart attack. So you see how all that is very scary, and all of them lead to one conclusion. These diagnoses, the reason why you're scared to see somebody like me or my fiance who works in a kidney clinic overall, is because we physically represent death to a lot of people. We represent in live person the mortality you have. And that's the thing. And that's what I really want to focus on, everybody, is fear with medicine, fear of seeing a doctor, fear of hearing any diagnosis, is fear of your own mortality. The fact that you will die someday. Every single person on this planet will die someday. That is a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard pill to swallow. Okay? And that's a scary thing, because you can have faith in whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in. But man, taking that next step forward, really truly believing it, it's scary. It's scary for a lot of people. Okay. And anybody who's listening to this, who's been a patient of mine, and we've had these kind of conversations, I always bring it back to, even if you're not a Christian, if you know the story of Jesus Christ being crucified, that whole story, that entire story, is a blueprint of what you need to do in those situations. Okay, what did Jesus do before it? Jesus, y'all gotta really put things in perspective. Jesus had the power of God at his fingertips. Okay, if you watch Infinity War, he had the Infinity Gauntlet. All he had to do was snap. Everything would have been done. He didn't have to do that, but he had to, because it was his duty. It was what he had to do for our sake. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because he had to reconcile the fact that, man, he had the Infinity Gauntlet. He was stronger than anything on the planet, and he had to die. And he could die. He could die at any second, and he knew when he was going to die. Reconcile that. Think about if you were 30 years old, you knew exactly when you were going to die and how it was going to happen and how miserable it was going to be. Think about that. Remember what the devil was saying before. The devil really was just trying to tell that dude, hey, Jesus, bro, look, you can exit stage left. You know that, right, homie? You can exit stage left. There's a little island called Jamaica, ain't even been discovered yet. They got tropical plants, man. And then right across the way, man, there's a thing called the Gulf Coast, man. We can hang out, put our feet up, chill. But no, he had to go through with that. He had to get beaten and tortured and crucified and all that other stuff. But he was scared. He was scared. Y'all, he was scared. Just like I'll be when that time comes. Just like Nate will, just like anybody will. Okay? And that's what this stuff represents. And that's what you got to keep in mind. So if you have faith in something, realize that faith is what's going to get you through it. Your family is what's going to get you through it. Okay? And so when you look at that, when you look at your mortality, when you're in that situation as a patient, you know, and you're thinking about dialysis, it's going to make you depressed. It's going to make you feel down. It's like, damn, this is it. Damn. What have I done? Have I done enough? Did I do right by my parents? What if this and what if that? Every regret, every whatever, okay, is going to come out. And that's going to make you feel bad. Depression, anxiety, okay? That's what these things are. Does it mean you're crazy? No. I would actually be a little bit more concerned if you were in dialysis and you were just like, okay, whatever, cool. Indifference in life-threatening situations is a worse sign. I would actually think you were crazy at that point. Okay? Having emotions, not understanding your emotions being all over the place, that's part of the human condition. Okay? And that's what you got to realize. That's part of the human condition. So don't feel bad about that. Y'all think politicians go up there and have all these speeches and do this and do that and they never feel bad about anything? No. Read some of their books. Read some of these former presidents' books. They regret crap all the time. They hated every part of their job a lot of times. That's why they age double in a 4 or 8 year period than any other human. Okay? You think preachers? You think us docs? You think lawyers? You think CEOs and COOs don't get scared, don't get depressed, don't get anxious? I'll be the first one to tell you that's furthest from the truth. Okay? Furthest from the truth. And so don't think that depression and anxiety means you're crazy. Being, having those bad feelings is weak. You're weak and you're not dealing with this right, and you ain't got faith. No, you're a human being, okay? For a lot of black folks, our ancestors, majority of them were slaves. You don't think they was depressed? Think about that. Was that crazy? Hell, I'd be crazy if I was a slave. So, you're supposed to be. You're a slave. You're not supposed to be in that state. Of course, you're going to feel down and depressed. Okay? And so, what are some of the signs of depression and anxiety? Weight gain, weight loss. Sleep is off. You're sleeping too much or you're sleeping not at all. Things that you used to like to do, you don't like to do anymore. Things don't give you as much pleasure. You don't talk to as many people. You kind of become a hermit. You get tired. You might even develop twitches in your body. Those nervous twitches. Okay, or you shake your legs a lot, or you're sitting there doing this, or doing this with a pen, clicking and clacking. Okay, that's what all that is, and it's a manifestation of what's going on in this right here, that mental world you've created that makes you you. Doesn't mean you're crazy. just means you understand what's going on and this is how your body's reacting to it. Because at the end of the day, your body only cares about you. It cares about nothing else outside of you. And so when your body proper thinks it's dying, it's going to feel like that. It's going to make you feel down. You're going to make yourself feel down. Okay? And that's why I want to emphasize is that when you're getting that diagnosis of kidney failure, getting on dialysis, okay, what you've got to realize is, one, without dialysis, you do die. That's a fact. If you got kidney failure and the doctor wants to put you on dialysis, that means within the next 6 months, if you don't have dialysis, you will die. Okay? Is it going to be fun being on dialysis? No. And you've got to come to grips with that. Your life's going to change. Your routine's going to change. You've got to be able to do dialysis to stay alive. So that's flipping your whole routine and knocking it off course. So guess what you have to do at that point? You got to try to cope. And that's where depression, anxiety, and things of that nature come through. Okay? And so when that happens, I implore you as people, as brothers and sisters on this planet, that if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like your nerves bad, you're feeling like things getting to you, or somebody's telling you off, tell us, tell the docs, tell us. We need to know, because nobody's going to know what's on your mind except you. Okay? And if I was a psychic, guess what, guys? I'd be a trillionaire right now. Okay? You have to be able to express this stuff. You have to be able to reach out, because when you internalize that stuff, it has disastrous effects on your body, and it can be lethal potentially. Okay? Now, yet again, this is a life-altering event. So you as a person, if you have depression, anxiety, you talk to your doctor, I would say, hey, you might want to talk to your family members too. How do they feel about it? Because I tell you, even as a trained doctor, I see a lot of this, right? If my mom, God forbid, or my dad, God forbid, my sister, anybody that's in my immediate family, if all of a sudden they had to be on dialysis, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'd be fine. Okay, I might be poker faced a little bit because I probably want to understand the situation a little bit, but I can't tell you my heart wouldn't be racing or dropping out of my chest. The fear would come out of my, would be in my mind. Okay, that happens. It's gonna happen. It happens. Okay, but what I would do is I would express that to my own personal doctor. Okay, I would seek that help to try to cope, because if you are down and that patient is down, that family member is down, that friend is down who's getting dialysis, that's not going to help them. And then for all the people who think that, okay, well, I'm just going to be strong for them, so I'm not going to say nothing. We can tell. People can tell. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this. So every single mom out there, every mama out there, every child out there that's saying, oh, well, I'm strong, I got to look after them, and my nerves ain't bad, but secretly they are. We can tell. Okay. And I know right now you're probably like, oh, well, no, he can't tell because I'm doing. No, somebody can tell. Okay. Somebody can tell. And if you don't realize that or don't want to face that reality, it is going to get worse for you. Okay. And so what are some of the things that your medical professional can do, whether it be a doctor or a nurse practitioner? One thing is, are there medications? Yes, there are medications. Okay. But I would advise you not only to rely on a pill, but counseling. And this is where I'm losing a lot of people right now. I can already tell. I'm going to lose a lot of people right here. I ain't going to sit in somebody's couch. I ain't going to sit there like I'm a crazy person. I ain't going to sit there and tell somebody my business and blah, blah. That's not going to help me do anything if I just talk to somebody. I got this person, blah. Okay, stop. Okay, there's a lot of people out here whose whole jobs is just to listen to people with problems, and they're trained to teach you how to deal with them. Okay, that's what counselors are for. Counselors are not there to tell you how to cope or what to do. They'll help you, they'll advise you. But the best thing counselors do is this: they organize your feelings. They help you understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. And because of that, you'll learn what triggers you. And then how do I modify that? How do I make that a lot less worse? If I get down, am I going to get really down? Or if I'm just going to get a little down? That's what counselors do. And it takes a long time. It doesn't take just 1-2 visits. Okay. So, perfect example. Okay. If you saying counseling won't help you, okay, then don't go sit on the porch. Don't go to the church. Don't go to the grocery store and then start gossiping and running your mouth, okay, about this, and that. Or you say you're talking to your friend and they're going to help you out. If that was the case, then you would only do it once a year. Okay, but you don't. No, you do it every single time. Why? Because that's therapeutic. Hence why we do counseling. Okay. Hence why we do that. This is what people have always done since the beginning of time. Okay? Realize that. Okay? You ain't the first person to express how you're feeling and stuff like that to your friends or somebody to get a little advice or just to vent and get it out. That's what counselors are for, everybody. That's what they're there for. You got to understand that. A lot of data to back that up too. Okay. So not only can you use medicine, I would always say get a counselor, a grief counselor, a trauma counselor, things of that nature. Okay. Because once you feel better about yourself and your situation and life, things like that, and you give that positivity to yourself, yet again, putting positivity into yourself, not negativity like in the form of depression, anxiety, but coping is positivity. Moving forward, looking at the brighter side of everything is the positive, right? So, quick example, patient A comes in and gets a diagnosis of end-stage kidney failure and has to be on dialysis. Patient B is in the same boat, coming in end-stage renal failure, is going to be put on dialysis. Okay, both of them are depressed at day one. Patient A doesn't tell the doctor anything. Patient B says, "Hey doc, I'm scared. I might not want to do a dialysis, but I don't know what to think right now. I'm scared, but I need your help." So the doctor puts patient B on meds or sends them counseling, things of that nature, or a combination of both. Patient A never says anything. Okay. Patient A year later is still miserable, still sleeping wrong, not feeling good, etc. Okay, but still on dialysis, still alive. Patient B may have some rough goes here and there with dialysis, but has a good outlook on life. Went to somebody's graduation, went to the family reunion and enjoyed themselves. Okay, went on a trip and enjoyed themselves and saw the best. Like, hell, I'm alive. I'm here. I'm on dialysis and I'm alive. The other person is wallowing in sorrow because they're on dialysis, but forgot they were alive. Forgot they were alive, and it was because of the dialysis. Forgot that they were alive because they were on life-saving measures. Though it's not optimal for them as a person, and it knocks off their whole routine. Man, they didn't cope, though. And then maybe 5 years later, patient A dies. 5 years later, patient B still alive with a smile on his or her face. Because that positivity, that outlook is so much better. And when your body believes there's a purpose of being alive, believes why every heartbeat counts, believes that we need to keep going for decades and decades, it will keep going for decades and decades. Okay? If family members surrounding a person on dialysis bring in depression, anxiety, stress, all that, angry about stuff. Why are you on dialysis? Why didn't you take your medicine? All this other stuff. If you keep doing that, that's going to put that person faster into a grave. And you've got to keep everything in context too, everybody. It's 2021. Dialysis technology is only going to get more advanced and better. It is not 1980, it's not 1990, it's not 2000. It's 2021. Okay? Dialysis, as far as I know, has not been around for 100 years. Okay? And look how far we've come. Okay? This is not a death sentence. Black folks, especially, and I'm really talking to black folks, if somebody's on dialysis, that means, one, you've got to support that person. You've got to be there for them. And if there is something going on with you mentally by doing it, if it's causing you a lot of grief, take care of it. Because if that person is depending on you, then guess what? If you go, that other person goes. You are important. Fix that situation. If you, as a person right now listening to this, have kidney disease, have advanced kidney disease, you may be on dialysis. Realize this is life-saving stuff. Realizing this is just another phase in your life, not a death sentence. It's just another phase in your life. Okay? Much like people go from child to adolescent, teenager to young adult to middle age to senior, it's another phase in your life. And this is just the card you've been dealt. Okay? I'm sure Jesus would have loved to have been able just to be ignorant and in bliss, living his good Hebrew life, chilling with his family, his mama, his daddy, doing his carpenter thing. But no, he had to do something and he was scared as hell. But guess what? It worked out in the end, didn't it? Didn't it? It sure did. Okay. And yet again, medications are one thing, but I implore you, counseling. Long-term counseling, not just for a couple of sessions, not because it's, I don't think they're listening to me. They're not going to tell you business, because let me tell you right now, as a person who has counseled a lot of people in various communities, I will tell you for a fact, one, morally, ethically, legally, we're obligated not to tell anything. And then two, we see a lot of people, y'all. We see a lot of people. Your story, and don't take this the wrong way, you're not the only one. You just the same song, different verse. I promise you. And probably a week or so down the line, we may not know every little detail of what you told us. This is why we document it. Okay? All we want to do is see you and make sure you're getting better. That's what I want to see. I want to see you with a real smile on your face. I want to see you saying, I got this, and that going on, and guess what? We good. Oh, yeah, I'm on dialysis. I'm good. Bam, boom. This is what it is. Or, hey, you know what, doc? I had dialysis the other day, but I'm not feeling good because of it. But I'm good. I'm good. And that's fine. Because, ladies, guess what? When you pregnant, right? That ain't all roses and sunshine, right? But man, a lot of pregnant ladies, come through so happy they pregnant. So happy they got a baby on the way. And they do it again. And again, it might have 2 or 3 kids. Well, good. The back aches, peeing all the time, constipation, gaining weight, got fluid all over the ankles, all over the head, face, all that, getting short of breath. Being pregnant ain't fun. Okay? Being pregnant ain't fun at all. But guess what? You do it because you know the outcome. You know the positivity. You know all the joy that comes with it. Okay? So that keeps you in a positive mood, right? And that's what you got to do with anything in life. When you hear stuff like you're going to be on dialysis, you got heart failure, you got diabetes, you got to look at the positive. Okay, the positive is one, at least you have this option to discuss, hey, are we going on dialysis? It'd be a lot worse if you're on dialysis after we done told you you need to be on dialysis, but you're on dialysis after waking up in the ICU. That's not fun, is it? Okay, that's not fun at all. Like, for instance, let's go to our co-host on here, Nate. When you were diagnosed and told you were needing to be on dialysis, what were some of the feelings that were going through your head during that time from a mental state?
Uh, Being that I was in high school, I was 17 years old, senior year. Um, it was crazy. I didn't know anything about what dialysis was. Well, that's when my kidney disease first started.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time it failed all the way, like in the mid '90s, I had to go on dialysis. Um, I was prepared because like I said, I got sick years before. But just the mere fact that you having something, a disease at a young age, you know what I'm saying, and having to go on the machine, know your outcome, like you say, it was scary. It was scary as hell. You know what I'm saying? When I first got sick, it was scary. I thought I was gonna die. I ain't know, like you say, all that came up. I was a kid though, so I was like, damn, I ain't even finished high school. I
Right,
didn't, I
right.
didn't, I didn't even know about dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, to answer your question, it was scary for the whole family because my family not in the medical field. They was bankers and ran stores. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know shit about no healthcare. Excuse the cursing, but yeah, it was scary for the whole family. I remember my mom crying, my daddy just got quiet, and he was always a joking, laughing type, and he was quiet for a few months until we got some education on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, yet again, this is a situation where educating patients is very, very important. So, always
Very.
question. So, and this is to any other medical professional out there, explaining stuff to patients is the number one thing. Okay. And then two, like you said, Nate, your folks were scared.
Yeah.
Okay, they were scared. And see, guys, in these situations, that's what we expect to hear. But until you are able to cope with it or say something to your own professional, it's not going to get any better. I'm
Yeah.
sure, hey, one of the last things you needed during that time was for your dad, who is the jokester, bringing the laughs, bringing the good times,
Right.
shut down because that's when you need the positivity. That's when you need to laugh the most.
He was a war veteran. He always he shut down. He was infantry, so he had seen a lot
Mm,
of death to him. I never conversated with him too much about that,
yeah.
But you were saying they need to talk to your doctor. They need to talk to the doctors about, well, this ain't really mental health. Talk to the doctors about getting your kids checked early too, because a lot of
Yeah.
kidney disease can be prevented. A
Right.
lot of kidney diseases come from stuff that's already in them or was already going on in their body at a younger age.
Yeah.
So
And I'm glad you brought that up, Nate. And so this is another reason why, during these situations, you've got to have mental clarity as a family member because you are right. There are so many patients that we see that may come in because now they're just now starting to, like we talked about last time, starting to feel sluggish, fatigued, insomnia, not peeing as much, things like that. And then we get the story of, oh yeah, well I remember my mom, dad, whoever was on dialysis for high blood pressure related kidney disease or diabetes got to their sugar got to their kidneys and etc. Right? If you as a family member see that, go get checked out because right now our whole game plan in primary care is to prevent that, is to slow the progression of that. If you come to us to get us checked, to get checked out, you're better off. If somebody has colon cancer in your family, right? That's when we tell family members, okay, if somebody has colon cancer in the family, and they're 40 years old, and say that's your mom, dad, or whatever, and you're like in your teens or in your early 20s, that's when we say, hey, you know what? On top of let's treat your parents, let's get you scoped. Let's get you scoped. Because if we see a few little lesions, polyps, and stuff, we could just yank that out now, and hopefully you won't be in this situation in 20 years like your mom and dad. You see how that works? And that only comes with having that mental clarity to say, hey, this is the situation, this is what the doc has lined out, and this is what we got to do. Simple as that. Simple as that. Okay? If y'all remember what this country was in 2001 when the Twin Towers were hit and destroyed, and all those people lost their lives, the Pentagon was damaged, and that one plane flight went down as a sacrifice to kill those terrorists. After that, everybody banded together. It was a tragedy that day, but then after that, we rallied together because we knew there was a greater purpose. We knew as Americans that we were something greater, and it was something to fight for. And it was something that we needed to rebuild. That's how you got to look at this. That's how you got to look at this is, if somebody is down, right? If my parents all of a sudden are on dialysis, then let's make sure they're on dialysis and they're good and they're stable for years and years and years. What's the situation? Let's find the problem and go from there. And then let's be comfortable with it. Let's be able to sleep at night knowing that we've got this. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but guess what? We got a game plan, and I think it's going to be good. Okay? It's going to be good. And that's how you always have to look at this stuff, guys. But if you're not able to do that, let your doctor know. Let your doctor know, because we can help you from a mental standpoint. We can help you with antidepressants or anxiety meds and things like that, okay? We can help you with counseling, grief counselors. And there's certain places that have chaplains and things of that nature, okay? Because that is an important facet for you as a person, because that abstract mind that you have that creates this world is just as important as the physical body we treat all day, every day. So just remember that. And you're not crazy. You're not crazy. So don't say, oh, my nerves just bad. I don't need this and that because I'm not crazy. No, you're not crazy, but you're hurting. Okay? Period. The end. Swallow that pride. Keep it moving. Okay? Face your mortality and keep moving. Okay? Because when we as doctors tell you that you're going on dialysis, we're not trying to tell you you're about to die, because we're trying to not have you die. We would tell you, okay, you're in end-stage renal failure, you just go home and die. That's what you equate it to. But no, dialysis means you're just gonna keep going. Not the best thing, but you're just gonna keep going. And so I hope this was helpful. If you're in this situation, please heed these words. If you think you're going to be in the situation in the future, please heed my advice, word, whatever. Okay, save this video, pass it to somebody who may need to hear this. Okay, because I see this every day. My fiance sees this every day. Okay, and yet again, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. There's not a whole field of medicine dedicated to psychiatric conditions for nothing. Okay, and I will tell you, 50 to 60% of psychiatric patients are everyday average Joes and Janes out there who really, they have depression, they have anxiety, they have trauma from military, from car accidents, from assaults, etc. Doesn't make them crazy, just makes them human. That's it. If you believe in Jesus, he was human. He was depressed, he was anxious, he was scared, he was traumatized, and he had the infinity gauntlet, and even he was depressed. Would you call him crazy? They did. They were wrong, but they did. That's all I want to say. So good talking to y'all today. Okay. Nate, anything else?
Yeah, well, kidney patients and depression, I went through it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, on different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the one of the things in the beginning, being a high school student, uh, and being a kidney patient at the time, not on dialysis, I had that altered body image thing going on. Um, well, I took medications. Well, my face blew up. I had a high top fade, and my hair turned straight as white folks.
Yeah.
Uh, that's it. Seriously. I had that fade, and yeah, I be walking with my boys, man, and
Right,
hair
right.
going through my and I lost a lot of weight, man. Still lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight. Um, and that messed with me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to come outside. Didn't want to be around nobody. You know what I'm saying? But my guys and my girl, which is my wife right now to the day, and still the same friends. You know what I'm saying? Still the same friends, and I think that's what helped me. Get through that time because a lot of friends did leave. I mean, some people want to be around a sick person. You know what I'm saying? And that's just facts. I mean, it's never just even now. When I've been seeing that when I've been growing up. Somebody gets sick down here in Mississippi, everybody stop going around them as much, and
Right.
I see that all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in that where I was in that situation. When I lost my kidney this last time and had to go back on dialysis after 13 years. Um, I saw, people just stop coming around me. You know what I'm saying? People stop calling. I mean, that messes with you. That messed with me back then.
Mm-hmm.
But this time it kind of made me kind of feel kind of better because I wasn't as depressed. I wasn't depressed. I got depressed maybe for about 5 minutes when I got my results back and I saw my creatinine was real high. I got depressed and I got over it because I looked at my grandson and I shook that off and said I got to live. I just snapped out of it. But most times people don't even live this long to have those many experiences on dialysis where they don't get to that point. In the beginning, you get depressed a lot. And I did used to get depressed a lot. And I hid it
Yeah.
throughout through alcoholism. After I had my transplant, and people think a transplant is a cure. It's not a cure. It's just a treatment. You know
It's
what I'm
treatment
saying?
with a whole lot of problems with it.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, it almost caused me to die with the colon
Mm.
polyps. Uh, and the medication you take, it sends you its mental effects side effects is schizophrenia, insomnia,
Yeah.
anxiety, and I had all that, bro. I had it all. You know what I'm saying? And I tried to have it through alcoholism, and it actually made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you have to dialysis patients go through a lot, and they give up. A lot of them gives up, and that's why they don't last as long.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I've been going through this since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And everybody, and look at what Nate has on here. It's LPN and 31-year kidney patient. 31 years.
yeah.
Okay. Not 31 days, not 31 months, 31 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a ride, and
And so it's not a death. It's not a death sentence.
right.
And Nate would know better than me at this point. Nate has been through the evolution of where dialysis and transplant technology has come.
Oh my God, yeah, it's
To
it's,
the,
it's crazy, man. And what's crazy about it, I've been around. I was blessed enough to be around some of the greatest doctors, some of the pioneers of dialysis,
Mhm.
and how we get paid. I mean, how the Medicare pay for the dialysis because they usually didn't pay for it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people was jacked up if your parents ain't have or you ain't have insurance.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I'm blessed, man. I done seen the machines from the first machine I got on to the machine I got now. The first machine I got on, you couldn't control pulling the fluid off of you, so if you fell asleep, you liable to pull too much and down that mug. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And now it's everything is automatic, and hell, you can travel with it. You know, I travel. I'm the B patient
Right.
that you
Right.
talking about. I never really went through the A patient. Well, I shouldn't have had because I had a lot of support. I went through it. I never went through it like a long time because
Mm-hmm.
maybe a few years, like 3 years, and I blame it on alcoholism because that's about the only time I really started tripping. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is when I was drinking and taking that transplant medicine, schizophrenic medicine.
Yeah, man. You said you're that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that mental health and kidney patients. That's my thing. I want to get in these kidney units and start talking to these patients once I get my body back better and get a little bit more energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, get all my stuff in order because they need help. And I urge you, I see these foundations out here. They give us a blanket and a pillow thing to put your head on and rest when you lay down on the kidney machine. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so the company can keep our ass coming in there. You know, they don't really do nothing for the patient. They put out flyers. Man, who read? Now you have to put something out. You know, you have to go
Yeah.
see these folks instead of sitting in them damn offices getting $60,000 a year for passing out pens that got your company names on them and you know I'm going
I
political on
know
it,
you
but
throwing that shade out there.
off, you know what I'm saying? And hell, I mean, I'm
Not
kidding.
saying any names, not saying any company
No,
names,
I'm not saying
but
company names. I'm not gonna put that out there because they might fuck around and kill my ass. Shit, I ain't got time for that, man. Um, yeah, it's pathetic how we get treated, and that you putting it's like 30 people in there getting dialysis at the same time without comfort,
yeah.
and somebody riding jets and riding boats and chilling. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
man, it's some of the places are terrible, man. It's like a nursing home, but you stuck with needles in your arms for about 4 or 5 hours, and then you got to go home and live this life. Then you got to come back. You forced to go back because if not, you're gonna die. You forced to go back to this place and
Hmm.
die lives with these motherfuckers and live that misery. You know what I'm saying? So with the mental that added with everything, how you think a mental patient of a patient gonna be, and why you think they act that somebody's always against them? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I understand it now. I understand what I went through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it sounds simple to the average. It sounds like crap to an average Joe that ain't really know what dialysis is and know what the person goes through. But for somebody in this field of healthcare that know the business side and the patient side, it's real.
Hmm.
It's real. I mean, I didn't curse folks out down in the dialysis units, in Chicago. That I mean, the shit ain't right, you know. And I'm on there dialyzing. You know,
Hmm.
tell them, man, don't make no damn sense, man. I never tell them I'm a nurse, but I tell them the truth. You know, they ain't gonna see me no more because I ain't coming back. So I'm gonna let these other patients rear them up so they can speak up for their rights because that depressed them. You know, they gotta live like this for 4 hours,
Right. Right.
3 to 4 times a week,
Right.
then go home and feel like crap. Wake up
Hmm.
back to this joke again. Money ain't right. Ain't nobody. Most time, people ain't got a support system.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so mental health and dialysis is very crucial and it's overlooked. You know what
It,
I'm saying? And I urge dialysis nurses to get on that, look at people in their eyes and talk to them. My wife's a tech. She's been a tech for same wife when we was younger. Before I got sick, she been with me, so she ain't with me. Just she ain't got no pity on me. She ain't with me because I'm a dialysis patient. But she so happened to be a nurse, dialysis tech for like 15 years, and she's pretty good at asking me questions in the situations that she be in, how she should talk to a certain, patient. She never tell me their name because that's a host. What is host? Whatever the name of it is. I'm tired.
Yeah.
HIPAA. I said, oh, somewhere. uh, yeah. So I urge people to have pity on some of us, man, and reach out for the dialysis patients in your family, kidney patients in your family, and make sure and check on them and
Yeah.
look for those hidden signs that they might be mentally ill because they just might be. And for some reason, well, I know what the reason is. Negroes are getting real depressed even more nowadays. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't get as depressed because we was already rooted in depression. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
There you
so,
go.
so now Negroes got good jobs now and living good, and
Hmm.
some of us are envious of others, and that makes you depressed when you can't get up and go get it. So, and, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's what the envy is because niggas ain't get that. Negroes ain't get that depressed back then. They didn't. Who was
No, no,
already rooted in. So every
yeah,
little thing, a slice of apple,
right.
we
Like,
was
right.
happy. Some chitlins, we was happy. We gourmet the hell out of it, man.
Yeah,
We know how to
you
do
remember,
things.
yeah,
Now
'cause,
we uppity.
well, a lot of our like our great grandparents and stuff, they were like, well, things are,
Man,
and look,
simple.
let me tell you, my daddy was a slave. Like,
Yeah, we simple, man. Yeah, just give me the ass of that hog. The inside of his ass. We gonna cut it up, season it down, baby. And put some oh boy.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, we'll make it work. So now I mean, seriously, man, we more depressed. We killing ourselves,
Yeah, yeah,
and not just I'm sorry if I'm offended any Caucasian people out there looking, but I'm no disrespect. I just
yeah.
pay
Everybody,
attention more of my people more because we got a lot of problems, especially in healthcare. I still love white people. I love everybody. I don't like white people who are racist,
mhm,
liars, and I don't like Negroes who are racist.
right,
Yeah, those
right,
got racist Negroes too.
right.
So when I talk, I mean, just cut me off, man. Don't look at it if I just, I'm trying to help you, but I'm gonna keep it real. Um, but anyway, take it over, Doc.
Yeah, yeah.
We can close it out. I'm gone. Yeah, you actually, man. I bet you won't bring me on here no more.
No, no, that's no, and Nate's right. Nate's right. Everybody has their own situations here in America. We emphasize African Americans on the show just because African Americans in general have some of the worst health outcomes in this country. And it's been going on for centuries. And so we have we are both black men, and we have a vested interest in this. But everybody is important. Everybody has their own situation. We're just making fun of it a little bit because, guys, guess what? I know we're in this weird cancel culture situation, but look, if you can't laugh at some of this stuff, you overthinking stuff. Okay, you overthinking stuff. All right. So when we joke and laugh, man, that's all we're doing is joking about it. Okay. We don't like bad people. But anyway, um, everybody, I hope you really take heed of what we're saying, listen to what we're saying. Just what Nate says. He had his ups and downs, and he still will have ups and downs. But he's glad he has ups and downs. He's glad he can keep going forward. He likes to have ups. Okay. And you don't get ups unless this is in a better place. Okay. And so next time, everybody, I think, what we're going to do is just take this one step further. Since we've gotten to dialysis, we need to take to the opposite side. There are some people that elect not to do dialysis. They'll and decide to say, hey, I kind of just want to ride this out, and whenever I go, I go. We call that hospice and palliative care. And so the next time we talk next week, we'll dive into that a little bit more about what hospice is, what palliative care is, the differences between the two, and then the misconceptions that a lot of people have about that form of care. So, like I always say, make sure you have a great night. Peace. I'll see you next week.